to get into Trump and Elon Musk, showing us what's behind the scenes and why they loyal to each other in their strategic partnership. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
I've got to start with this. So he's working for free with DOGE. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Well,
That's
I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, you know. And I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and you know the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right. It makes sense.
I think it's funny.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount when the lawsuit.
He got a he got a big discount.
Yo, couple different things to start off this interview. I wasn't expecting for it to start off this way. Couple different things, because when I seen that hit the news, I was like, that's interesting. Trump is taxing so that he can allow for people to be able to work for free for DOGE so that they can fix the federal government. Trump said, I gave him a discount. What more do you want from me? The fact that we are friends means that you get a discount and you only got to pay me $10 million for the numbers that you guys had did to me. To be fair, he did sue Twitter before Elon Musk decided to take it over. However, that's a heck of a friendship right there. Yo, that's some real alpha stuff right there to say, yeah, man, listen, bro, I need you to go in and clean house for the federal government, but I also need my $10 million. I'm going to give you a $10 million discount. Just give me $10 million and we're going to go ahead and fix this. That's wild. That's some wild stuff right there.
I don't think he even knows about it.
He's become one of your, if you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's, you know.
It's nice the way he said that. You know, there's something nice about it.
It really is. You know, because I mean. The president has been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
You know, I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, you know, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event. Yes.
That speeded it up a little bit.
Yeah.
The day of the assassination.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
Mr. President, with your indulgence, I'm convinced that people only know a little bit about Elon. I don't think they know everything about Elon, because as I studied and prepared for this interview, I learned a lot about you that I didn't know. I think people will think about Tesla.
Somebody said in the chat that Elon speaks so weird on camera. That's just the way that he speaks. Actually, if you go and look at interviews of his father, Elon Musk, his father speaks the same way. They say that he's like mildly autistic or something like that too. I'm not sure. I've actually read his book. I think I got it up there somewhere. I've read a book about him. I need to find that book real quick.
Tesla Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you. I just want people to understand you a little bit better, and the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in.
Yeah.
And, you know, just let's go over a little bit of your bio, starting with PayPal, and how you became involved in Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and all these.
Take a while. I mean, you know, I think the way you think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life better.
Your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I like my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. So if you take for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order where, hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals. And yet they were still doing that, even as late as last week. And so, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the DOGE team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
You're both aware, you have to be keenly aware, that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. They said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, It's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it because if they were good at it, I'd never be president.
Anybody in their right mind understands that leadership is delegating responsibilities, but you're also leading from the front. So you're always going to be in the fight. You're always going to be visible. You're always going to be available for questions. But a president's job is not to do everything himself, similarly to a CEO's job is not to do everything themselves. It is to find the greatest people that have already had success or found success doing what you want things to be done within our federal government, basically mimicking what you've done in private companies or publicly traded companies over here inside of the federal government. And there is nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody. People are studying Elon Musk. Automakers and CEOs study Elon Musk because the speed, and that is one of the things that make him great, is speed, innovation, technology. Speed, innovation, technology. The speed is that he's removed all of the layers, similarly to how he's done at Tesla. You know what one of the problems is at Ford, Chrysler, and GM? One of their biggest problems is that they have too many layers of management. We call these middle management, right? And they slow things down because they prevent you from actually operating similar to being a startup, right? Once you go public, you start hiring all of these people to fill all of these roles because you're basically doing what you think that every other company is doing. And instead of thinking through and saying, why do we need this person? Why do we need this person? And why do we need this person? If we're enabling the right people to do the right jobs, then we don't need to operate like that. We can operate like a startup. And that's what Tesla basically does. They operate like a startup, and they have a CEO that leads from the front. He's when they was launching the Model Y, he was literally there as an engineer, working with the other engineers. Why is my camera doing that? I don't understand that. He was literally there like an engineer, working with the rest of the engineers and sleeping on the floor. He led from the front, right? And so what you then see is that they delegate responsibilities, but they don't want too many layers of management. And that's similar to the way that Trump is doing. He's finding the right people in the right positions, in the right roles that would then allow for us to operate the federal government like a business. Because the one thing that we've always asked for, but don't nobody actually want to go through the cuts. Nobody wants to actually suffer. Everybody is cool with everything until it starts to hit them, right? You care about it being tough on drugs. We need to remove drugs from the atmosphere until your homeboy get locked up because he was one of the ones that was dealing inside of the neighborhood. Everybody wants smaller government, but don't nobody feel like their job is useless. And so until it hits you, nobody wants to have that conversation. And so what Tesla's basically doing, which is being studied by every single CEO and automaker, is that he's shrinking the government, removing all of the waste, making sure that we're not using American taxpayer dollars for doing things that we don't want to do, eliminating the fraud, and he's doing it efficiently. He's doing it faster than ever before. The same way that he did to Tesla, because Tesla was a company before Elon Musk bought it. The same way that they did to Twitter, right? Streamlined the heck out of that company and then ran it more efficiently, and now they're profitable. The same way that they did PayPal, the same way that they do everything, right? And so you need people that are great at their jobs, that can execute quickly, and who better than do it than the people that's proven that they've done it over and over again inside of private businesses. You just don't like it because you was the director of agriculture, and oh my God, I was the director of geology trying to study whether or not worms insert inside of holes faster or slower than they ever did so that we can preserve species on the face of this earth. No, we good. We good. We know you study rocks. We know you understand geology. If you still want to do that, then you can start your own company and make a petition or solicit for funds from the federal government, or go and work for a major university to where they get research and development funding so that you can still study geology and rocks. We don't need that right now. We broke. Studying geology and rocks is for people that are rich. Making sure that we build better businesses and streamline the government is what we need right now inside of the United States of America.
Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
And at the end of this interview, what I would like is I want people to know the relationship and know more about you. What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, do you know Elon Musk? They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah, and he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's pretty amazing, and I didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships, and we watch Tesla. I think, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby. You grab your baby. It just
hug the rocket.
I've never seen
everyone.
Somebody says, Raymond, I'm guessing you're a migrant. You're not necessarily from here. Or maybe you are from here, maybe you're born here or whatever, I don't know. Says, if you don't have someone concerned about preserving the air you breathe and the land you live, no money or paper to wipe your butt with, you can't survive if your environment is polluted. Cool, I understand that. But we not going to throw billions of dollars at it. That's not what we going to do. Listen, we broke. I don't know how much more I could say that to y'all, or any more ways that I can explain it to you. We're broke. The United States of America is in debt. They're broke. BROKE. We're broke. We don't have extra dollars to send over to Guatemala for them to put on a drag show. I don't understand how y'all don't understand this. We're broke. We are broke. Everything is on pause. We gonna roll with the systems that we got until we can get the money to do better. Until we find out where all of the money is going, we're going to sit down. We don't need no more probationary employees that was hired within the last 2 years. All of them got to go because we were existing and we was doing just fine prior to Biden getting in office. We're broke. I don't really know how y'all don't understand this. You may think that your job is important. I don't.
He needs a hug and clearing rockets.
No, but, and he said, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it.
Right.
And he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. And nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S., Russia, or China, they can't do it. And they won't be able to do it for a long time. He has the technology. So you learn, I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect. Because, I mean, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But I could, as soon as he said that, I said, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive, and you sign it, and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually literally am
much
tech
more
support.
than that.
I literally am tech support, though. But
he gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering. It would be great, and you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. They could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done, get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden, he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified into law? You need the Republican Congress to follow up?
And they will be. A lot of them will be,
They will.
But look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have 4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning. Because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem, it's both good and bad. Because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled most of them. They were terrible. I mean, we're going to go radical left communists. Okay, it was crazy. Their executive orders were so bad. If they ever got them codified, you'd never be able to break them. So
somebody said the military-industrial complex is the biggest fraud. I agree. And guess what Trump is committed to doing? Going and auditing the military-industrial complex. You got to go agency by agency. A lot of people still forget that he hasn't even been in office a month. So everything is going to be audited. The Department of Education, USAID, the military-industrial complex, the IRS, everybody is getting audited. Every single agency is going through with a fine-tooth comb. Remember, before he even got into office, people didn't believe it. They said, listen, we are going to be done with this by 2026. July 4th, 2026, we are going to dismantle DOGE. It will be no more, but we will have a clean slate when it comes to the government. That's what they said. It looks as though they are executing on that promise. And the people are whining, these raging liberals, oh my God, I was a woman that voted for Kamala Harris. She could have been our president. We wouldn't have been finding ourselves inside of this. They executing fast. They're going through. And you know what the worst part about it is they gave y'all a chance. They said, listen, we'll buy you out. We'll buy you out. Take the buyout. Take the buyout, or you'll find yourself on the other side. 2 million government employees, 75,000 people took it. How did you think that this was going to turn out? How did you think that this was going to turn out? Less than 5%, like 3% of the employees took it. Now look at you. Now you looking like a box of powdered donuts, dusty. Now you look like a box of powdered donuts. You're dusty. And you're crying because for whatever reason you thought that you were an essential worker and you wasn't. You weren't. And the agencies that we need that are critical, we'll keep them. The ones that's not, we getting rid of it. We don't need all of this waste. We don't need every single person that said that they're an administrator. I'm the administrator, the executive assistant. Nah, you got to go. It's time to go, fam.
The damage that Biden has done to this country, and it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay? But the damage they did to this country, in terms of, let's say, open borders, you know, there's so many things, but open borders where millions of people poured into our country. And
oh, look at John Doyle. He continues to try to get my attention inside of the chat. Anton, your time is coming too. I know. I'm praying for it. I'm praying for it, big dog. I can't wait for God to continue to enrich me and give me what I truly deserve because I am the greatest content creator and businessman on the face of this earth. Absolutely. Hallelujah. Can't wait for God to say my time is coming. It ain't even here yet. I keep telling y'all that we at the cusp of something greatness. We're only at the tip of the iceberg. I said it. I said it. I told God, I said, yes, 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 John Doyle, yes, in Jesus' name, yes. Let my time come. God said he got great things for me. He has phenomenal things for me. He said that I am going to be richer than you could ever imagine. You know the thing about that though is, John, let me say something, John, for you real quick. If I were you, right? If I were you, I would be saying to myself, man, I really need to work on my own self because it ain't no fun hanging out inside of my mother's basement, even when I'm 40 years old. Like, when you broke, you don't have time to waste to focus on what somebody else got going on. The only thing you need to be figuring out is how you can get it yourself. When I was broke, I didn't watch TV. I wasn't paying attention to what nobody was doing on social media. I wasn't participating on Facebook. I didn't have any time or any vision for anything other than to run it up. I had to work. I had to grind. That's what kind of turned me off from TV. I have to make myself watch TV today because I've basically trained myself not to focus on what anybody else is doing unless it adds value into my life. That's why I be needing y'all to send me emails of what's going on in these streets because I don't have the capacity to focus on anything except for running it up at all. Real talk. I have no capacity. The people got to send it to me because summarize it for me. I'm so thankful for AI because AI can give me the synopsis of what it is that I need to look at before I look at it. And I was like, okay. I guess this is one of the things we got to focus. I don't have the capacity. When you broke, you have no capacity to focus on what nobody else has got going on. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like, have you ever seen somebody pay to get in a concert to yell out obscenities and then they get thrown out of the concert? This is similar to what you trending towards, John. It doesn't make sense. It absolutely, positively does not make sense. Why would you subscribe just because you don't like somebody and then say your time is coming? Is that why you subscribe? Are you one of those people that stand outside of the and protest? You spend your 9 to 5 protesting in front of people that's getting money, and then they walk right past you and they jump in their car and they kick up dirt on you as they drive off into their mansion in the hills. It's crazy, bro. You don't have the time. You don't have the capacity to be focused on anything except for how short your bag is.
hundreds of thousands of those people are criminals. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're gang members, they're people from prisons from all over the world. And we have a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so incredibly. You saw the numbers, they're now
Tom Homan is a big
96%.
95%.
He is a phenomenal guy. And Kristi Noem is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her. He said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. You know, she's very nice. He said, no, she's so tough. And she is. I see with the horses, she's riding the horse. Let's go. She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable. But those executive orders.
Let John rock, y'all. Let him be mad.
And now they get passed.
Listen, let John in the chat rock. See how patient, you see how benevolent my moderators are? They not going to time you out. I'm not going to time you out. As long as you don't say nothing that's out of line, you can continue to complain and whine and throw your hands up in the sky. Every single comment that you like, it continues to put me further into the algorithm. Let John rock, y'all. Let John live in his own life. Let him throw his hands up. Let him do what he do, y'all.
Passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
Let me go back a little bit to your background, because it's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO, and then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. I mean, you were the first private company to send astronauts successfully into space, first private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink
At some point. Huh? Yeah.
is in over.
I mean, they always ask me, like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have what is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
A robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me, and it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see,
yes,
and people with spinal cord injuries, that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that to becoming a success?
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged, so that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually. Yeah, I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science. The scientific method fundamentally is about always questioning the science.
Well, they didn't tell us the truth about COVID.
Correct.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time. But
that's why.
But he's on your team. Well, that's true. He can't top that.
He's good. You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this.
Well, thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful.
But this is the interesting. This is where we are as a society, and I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. DOGE. Nobody at DOGE gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some are, okay.
Yeah,
they're helping.
But it's fair to say that the software engineers at DOGE could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so
and they're very committed people.
So
yes.
You're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
When
At the president's
them?
request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were yes, they were left.
Hey, first of all, this is no laughing matter, but Trump is going to make sure that you understand that there is a difference between him and Biden. They said, hey man, they was only supposed to be in space for 8 days. They up there for over 300. Trump said, Biden. That's Biden over there. Yep, Biden. How come ain't nobody worried about the astronauts? How come nobody holding Biden accountable? Hey, are y'all still, where is Biden? Where is Biden? They had to basically come to Elon Musk to get him to use his technology that he's developed in order to rescue astronauts out of space.
Up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good. Now, if I had the weight of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, but when we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success. Mm-hmm. So, as long as we're not complacent.
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring him back.
About 4 weeks?
Yeah.
And
we're being extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
What's that?
He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
Well, it's like we were growing up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity. Can you believe it?
That's crazy. And you know what? That makes sense. Because, see, when Elon Musk said that they were left up there for political reasons, at first I was thinking to myself, well, what political reason could they leave astronauts in space? Well, because they didn't want to take the risk of killing the astronauts if they were unable to bring them back. So instead of them doing everything that they can and leveraging every piece of technology and every mind that has the capability to continue to pull forth to bring them back in space, they decided to abandon the mission and leave the astronauts up there and said, we're going to let Trump deal with it. That is absolutely crazy. Because he didn't want the responsibility. That tells you that he is so weak. Our previous president would rather dance with Billy Porter on the White House lawn with sassy people. They would rather spend more money on making sure that they throw parties for the trans agenda and the LGBTQ community on the White House lawn than to accelerate trying to get these astronauts home. And they would rather abandon them up there instead of taking responsibility and ruining their reputation. They don't want to take the risk. They'd rather leave it to the grown-ups.
Unbelievable. And so I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question. So people get hit with Hurricane Helene. They have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue. You donated that, I believe?
Yes.
Okay. You donated to the people.
He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina. He saved a lot of lives.
And California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean in North Carolina where they were really in trouble, they had no communication. People were dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay. Now you're going to rescue astronauts.
But he don't get no credit for that. Nobody gives him credit for that.
Now, and again, you do all of this. I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be adored by the left.
What's going on,
Not anymore.
Less so these days.
He killed that, huh?
I mean, less so.
I really did it.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah. And I don't, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And then I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name, and it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay, and they're like, wow, and I'm like, what is wrong, like, guys? Like, you just can't have like a normal conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like they become completely irrational.
He has no idea, but if you're friends with him,
Yeah.
you pay a price. You know, it's like I walk in a restaurant in New York and it's like half the room it's daggers and they want to.
No, the eye daggers level is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like, I had like some invitation, because so I got invited to like, so basically a big sort of dam event, like that was, but it received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I'd endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect, you know, how I was received.
Well, it affects all of us. That's absolutely correct. But shout out to Elon Musk for continuing to hold it down and be loyal to Trump. It certainly affected all of us. I'll tell you that, because, boy, the minute that I actually endorsed Trump, see, my family, they was already, and some of my friends, and some people that I went to high school with, my family, they were already kind of bothered by the idea that I was a Republican, that I was an open Republican. See, as long as I remained a quiet Republican, which a lot of people are, like a lot of y'all are what I like to call closet Christians. You a Christian when you alone, but then when you get into the world, you don't necessarily want to be challenged by people that want to question whether or not you a Christian or not, because you feel like you need to meet a certain expectation to be able to defend yourself instead of just being who you are. You know, the one thing that I find interesting about the sassy community, the LGBTQ plus community, is that no matter how ridiculous that they look, no matter how weird it is that you see a man with hairy legs and a full beard and mustache with aviator lenses on and a wig, he's going to put that dress on and he's going to live his truth. Meanwhile, you normal than ever. You are a person that actually is a reasonable thinker, as a conservative, as a Republican, as a Christian, as a man that exude masculinity and showcases what it means to actually be a family man and also hold on to your masculinity, and you still got balls, and because you don't say happy wife, happy life, we looked at as the lepers, because the crazy people is so many of them that they now want to look at us and say that we crazy. In reality, the only thing that you're suffering from is the idea that it's a lot of them, and that is more of them that you're used to. Have you ever been in enemy territory? Have you ever went to a game where you the opposing team, like go to an away game for your favorite team, and then wear the jersey of the team that you actually from? You're right. You're just in enemy territory, and so you feel like you got to tuck in your jersey, or I got to be a little bit more careful, or I got to try to fit in. No, I'm not trying to fit in. I'm going to stand out. And not based off of what you think a Christian is, what you think a man is supposed to be a simp. You think a Christian is supposed to be accepting of everybody and empathetic towards everybody. No, a Christian is supposed to be steadfast, holding the line, saying that this is the standard that you have to meet in order to be accepted into the kingdom of God. It's all based off of a condition. It is not 100% easy for everybody to do. You got to meet a certain expectation. In order to be classified as a great man, you got to meet this expectation. You're going to have to do the things that you don't want to do when you don't want to do it in order to be successful. That's what separates you. But everybody that's trying to fit in, everybody that's trying to make everybody comfortable, everybody that's trying to be accepting of everybody, we don't accept demons. We don't accept the devil. We don't accept people that think that they're normal, that want to go inside of women's bathrooms. We don't accept everybody that think that they're supposed to be invited to the picnic or the party. We don't accept trash culture and black culture that's not conducive for the community. We don't accept people running in the Victim Olympics. We don't accept people just doing whatever it is that they want to do and then calling it normal. No, you're not normal. You're very much sick. You're sick. We don't accept that. And just because you think that you're supposed to have some say so. When did we ever start letting the world determine how it is that we live our lives? When did we start to determine letting the world the outsiders. We not of the world. We're in it, but we not of it. When did we start letting everybody else determine what a man is? Oh, but Anton, this is what they said that we gotta do. Care nothing about what you thought. I don't want to be your friend. But Anton, if you not nice, you gonna be ousted by the in crowd. I never cared about what you thought. I don't care about being in it. I am the in crowd. All of them is just pump faking for each other. I am him. They have to acknowledge me when I walk in the room, not the other way around. I don't care nothing about you. I don't care about your standards. I don't care what you think a Christian is. You fly a rainbow over your church. And it don't even represent the covenant that God made with man that he wouldn't flood the earth again. Your rainbow at your church is based on the fact that you accepting anybody into the pulpit to do what they want to do. And that's why you got a bussy boy running your choir. I don't abide by your standards. I get my direction straight from him, straight from the Most High, straight from Jesus. I get my direction straight downloaded. Listen to you. I don't go by what your standards are. If I listen to you, I would be broke. If I listen to you, my wife would have left me a long time ago. If I listen to you, I would be a step baby daddy. If I listen to you, I would be a sucker. That's why you watching me and I'm not watching you. It's the difference. Anyways, let's continue. Sometimes you got to go left. Jesus was turning the tables over. Paul never subjected himself over to the people. He said that I'm going to write these letters over to the Galatians and tell them exactly what you're supposed to do. He would curse out the Pharisees and the Sadducees that said that he had to obey the Mosaic law. He said, I'm the Mosaic law. I am the law. I am the word. Who are you talking to? He never had to subject himself and humble himself over to his enemy. He prayed for him and then laughed at him, and then he saved their life in the end. Talking to. You know who I am? I'm the son of the Most High.